Okay, we are live. Hi guys, my name's Natalie. I work with Pemberley Realty, and today we're going to be talking about social media strategies to attract San Diego buyers and sellers. I have a special guest here, Andy Eakes. He's an agent at Pemberley Realty.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So I'm going to be asking you just a few questions. The first question, how can agents best use Instagram Reels to showcase listings?
I think Instagram Reels are a great way to showcase listings. I think it's kind of nice to see a video. I think people like seeing videos of the house, gives them a better feel of the layout and kind of what they're getting into before they actually visit the home.
Mhm.
And it's just a great way to attract, potential clients or people who might be interested in the house. So overall, I think it's a great way to market your listings.
Yeah, I totally agree. Next question. What type of posts tend to get the most engagement from buyers and sellers?
Yeah, that this is a good question, and I can't give an answer that I think is like it's either this way or no way at all. I'm just gonna
Mhm.
say what works for me, and I think it could resonate with some people. But to me, the best way to get followers and just overall engagement on social media is to kind of pick a niche. So personally, I like posting about like old homes, San Diego history. I think that attracts like not only a following that is engaging with my content, but it actually like supports stuff that I'm passionate about. Kind of has I guess what I'm getting at is they're a little bit more loyal, just because you kind of have that little niche that sort of separates you from the rest of the group, so to speak.
Right.
Also, I really do think picking a niche and just sort of posting about it on a consistent basis helps with your algorithm and will actually drive more attention to your page.
Yeah, I definitely agree. All right. How often do you think agents should be posting to stay relevant without overwhelming their audience?
That's a really great question. I That's so hard to say. Like, I would say it just depends on like the content you're posting. I think like what I see a lot of agents do that's probably a mistake is they maybe have a hard time deciding what they want to post about, and
Hmm.
they kind of post what they see other people posting, which is fine, but maybe not. It's not like the most engaging, or frankly, just to be perfectly blunt, it's just not interesting,
Right.
and you can lose your audience that way. And that's why I do think like just going back to my previous point of having a niche, it's like if you're posting stuff on a consistent basis, maybe a minimum of 3 times per week,
Mhm.
ideally like 5 to 6 times per week. Um, it's stuff that engages your audience, that's interesting to them, kind of takes the pressure off of you as well. Um, and it doesn't bore your audience. I know that's kind of a bad way to put it, but
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say read the room, read your audience. If you're posting too much, you'll probably lose some followers. So definitely like keep that in mind. Um,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's just like a good question to ask yourself is if you were in your audience's position and you
Hmm.
were like scrolling or you were looking for some sort of content to educate you or maybe motivate you, like what is it that you want to see or what do you think is interesting? And I think other people will resonate with that.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Next question is, what are some common mistakes agents make on social media, and how can they avoid them?
But yeah, this is another. Again, I don't think I'm like the be all and all of social media, but I think it's just sort of like the redundancies, maybe stuff that like the information that like Zillow is posting them are just very basic stuff.
Right.
Um, that's just what I think I see a lot of and like consider not spam, but just like unnecessary volume when it comes to like posting. Like you don't want to like look at someone's page and think, oh, they just posted this to like get a post out, and like I'm not actually getting anything from this. Um, yeah, it's so tough. Like, and again, I think it just depends on for real estate agents, depends on your market, depends on your client base, your audience, and again, I really just think like finding that good niche, separating yourself from everyone else is what's going to drive the most attention.
Yeah, I would say posting sporadically is definitely a mistake. Like see a lot of agents sometimes just post just so they can get their daily post out there, and it's kind of a random post. I think it's good for agents to have a schedule in their calendar, like when you're going to post this, what you're going to post, that way
Totally.
it's more organized.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't agree more with that. I think like if you're especially if you've been posting on a consistent basis, building a good following, your followers will notice if you kind of fall off and stop posting.
Totally.
Um, and so I would say like don't get discouraged. Like don't focus more on like just engaging with your audience. I think, and that'll work out.
Yeah. Okay. Another question. Do you ever use direct messaging on Instagram to build relationships with potential clients? And does it work?
Uh, like, what do you mean by that? I guess like do
Like,
I like engage people like is that what you're saying like kind of
has
randomly?
anyone ever DM'd you and been like, hey, like, are you a realtor? What do you do? Like, can you help sell my home? Or do you not really go that route?
No, personally, I've never had anyone random reach out, like just a person I've never met before.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the people who do reach out that are either interested in like my posts or wanting to work with me are
Mm-hmm.
people that I've already met before, and just getting them to follow me and kind of putting posts in front of their face in a sense is almost like a touch point in a way of like contacting them, and it kind of keeps you in front of them without actually like having to contact them on a regular basis.
Right.
So I'd say I've never had anyone random reach out, but yeah, it kind of adds into the whole sphere of kind of working your clients and staying top of mind.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So, do you recommend any other platforms other than Instagram? Are there like, would you say Facebook is equally as good, or TikTok even?
Yeah, I mean, I think like yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say each platform kind of puts you in front of a different audience, like certain age range, certain like type of person. I think anyone who uses social media will understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's good just be on everything, and like you're gonna want to stay consistent. So having the same profile picture, having the same handle, that way, like if you're like my handle, for instance, was Andy Eeks, like someone from Instagram could go look me up on Facebook or go look me up on X or TikTok, whatever, and still be able to find me.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I would recommend though is kind of like goes in line with that is they have these like programs that I've recently found for Facebook and Instagram, for instance. It's called Meta Business Suite. I think another one is called Hootsuite, and it's really nice to where you can create content, you can create posts, and you create one post that'll populate to all your different social media platforms. It just saves me a lot of time. You can also schedule posts as well. So like one of my things is at the beginning of the week on a Monday or something, I'll research all the content that I'll do for the next week or two, and I'll actually create all the posts in one day. But I'll schedule them out over the next week or two, and it'll just post as I schedule them. Um, it's kind of nice because I'm not constantly thinking like, oh, like I need to get a post out today, and there's no like anxiety behind that.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of worked into my schedule like one day a week, post everything to Meta Business Suite, and that way it's going to auto populate all these different social media platforms. Um, I think anyone who has a business and uses social media for that should be using something like that, and that in turn would get them to post on all platforms.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to stay organized and on top of it. It's a great tip.
Yeah, and there's nothing that's like more frustrating than when you see someone on Instagram, let's say, and you try and like find them on TikTok, and you just can't because like their handle is different.
Yeah,
And you don't know if it's them. Like I think keeping everything consistent just gives you credibility and helps people like find you easier.
totally. All right. My last question would be, do you think agents should post like strictly business stuff and or strictly personal stuff, or should it be like a mix of both? And what's the right mix?
Yeah, that's another great question. I mean, again, it just depends on the person. Like, I personally don't post anything about like my regular everyday life. Maybe that's to my fault, but it just doesn't fit sort of the niche of my page.
Yeah.
And I think it might confuse some people if I'm talking about, like, for me, it's San Diego history. So if I'm talking about San Diego history and then I try and put something in about me, it doesn't really like correlate. So it just kind of depends. Like, I think ultimately, if there was a way to break it down, it's like you should have like three. They call them like three pillars or three topics that you kind of post about. Maybe if there were three of them, 2/3 should be business related, and then 1/3 should be personal related. So the main focus of the posts are going to be business related, real estate related, whatever industry you're in, and then that third will be personal. And I think too, like, that helps people kind of see more quote unquote human versus like being just a business. So kind of puts a face to all the information that you're putting out there.
Yeah. Well, that was a great answer. That's all the questions I have for you. Is there anything else you want to talk to the viewers about?
No, I mean, think that's pretty much it. I think if you have a business, like, being on social media is very important. It's sort of kind of not replaced, but it's sort of the new, like, having a website. I think people would prefer if a business had a social media page versus just having like their own website. So
yeah, definitely. I think social media is definitely the new networking tool for sure.
Yeah, the one thing I will add too, like, when it comes to having your social media profile is in the description is a good opportunity for a call to action. A lot of people call that, like, refer to that sort of thing, where the first few lines are maybe a description about what you talk about. So for me, it would be San Diego realtor, San Diego history and historic properties, and then the final, like, note is, for more or to work with me, click here. And you just put a link to your website, or maybe a landing page where someone can put their information.
Yeah.
I think, like, utilizing a call to action and having some sort of a landing page for people to input their information is a great way, at least for real estate agents, to get people's contact information where you could ultimately start that conversation and hopefully close.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Andy. Thank you so much for joining me. And
yeah, no problem.
That wraps up this live stream. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, and talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for watching, everyone watching. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.